Hey, my name's Coco and this is Carver. Thanks for joining me today. We will be going through a 60-minute yoga class that will be focusing on opening up the chest and overall just being kind to our bodies. So grab a strap, and if you don't have a strap, grab a dish towel, a pillowcase, grab a belt, and make your way to your mat. Let's get started. Just coming to an easy seat on our mat, whatever that means to you. You can feel free to cross your ankles if that feels good. You can bring one foot in front of the other. Extend a leg out. Just coming into a nice easy seat here. Placing the hands down on the thighs, down for grounding, up for energy. And then just gently closing the eyes here. And just beginning here in your four corners of your mat. Whatever brought you here to yoga today, maybe you didn't want to come, maybe you were super excited. Just leaving that off the mat today. Noticing the sounds, the temperature, and then begin to notice your breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, feeling it go down your throat, into your lungs, your belly expanding, and then gently letting it all out. Maybe with a gentle sigh. A few more times here as we begin to come connected to our breath. So today we'll be focusing on a little bit of chest opening, hip opening, shoulder opening, but most importantly, kindness to ourselves. So this next hour and a half, leave all of your judgments aside. Maybe there's a pose you really want to get into. Just leaving these preconceived notions we have of what our practice should look like. And instead being kind to ourselves. We made it to our mat. We're here. Take a deep breath in. And sigh it out loudly one more time. Feeling nice and tall from the crown to the sit bones. Nice. Beautiful. We'll gently blink open the eyes here. And wherever the legs are at, I'm going to ask you to bring the left foot in towards the pelvis. And then we're just going to place the right foot in front of it. So no crossing, just in front. And then we're going to go ahead and grab our towel or our makeshift strap or our actual strap. We're going to root down into the sit bones, whatever that means. So sometimes we have to move around a little bit, just finding that nice grounding on the ground. Then bringing the strap so that it's in line with our heart. Feeling it nice and taut here. So we have about shoulder width distance between our hands. And just pulling it nice and taut. Feeling the fingers wrapped around. The shoulder blades plugged in here. Nice. Feeling nice and tall. Taking a deep breath in. And on your inhale, lifting the strap over the head. The knuckles up towards the ceiling. Lifting it to where it's comfortable for you. Feeling the whole arm engaged here. And then exhale, dropping the strap down to heart length. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the strap up. And following the breath, exhale, bring it down in line with the heart. Beautiful. Really rooting down. Inhale, lifting up. We'll do this 3 more times. Nice and slow. And exhale it out. Linking our breath with our movement. Feeling this gentle wakening up of our body here. Maybe feeling the shoulders begin to get tired, the arms, feeling the work that we're putting in. And exhale it out. Beautiful. Wiggling the fingers out, keeping the strap held on with the thumbs, just giving the fingers a little wiggle here. And then re-gripping onto the strap. On your next inhale, lift the strap up, feeling it nice and taut overhead. Rooting down into the sit bones, we're slowly going to begin to find a little side bend, falling over towards the right side. Thinking nice and grounded. Like I could easily go all the way over here, but what we want to stay is nice and grounded. Feeling that stretch in the shoulders, in the side body. Taking one more breath here. And inhaling, coming back up to center. Take a breath. Tell yourself you're doing great. Be kind to yourself. And then exhale, drop over to the opposite side. Finding that length. Rooting down and breathing. Displaying kindness to ourselves. Not going beyond our edge. Not pushing ourselves because we think we should. One more breath. And slowly come all the way up. And bring the hands all the way down to the lap. And just release the strap for a second. Opening the hands, getting some blood back into the hands. Dropping the chin to the chest. And breathing. Feeling that length in the spine. And with every breath, trying to send the breath down, all the way down into the hips where we're nice and heavy. One more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the strap all the way up towards the ceiling. Nice. Now slowly, we're just going to lean back onto our sit bones here. Coming up onto our sit bones, extending our legs out in front of us, and then switching the legs. So we're pulling the right leg in towards the body and keeping the left on the outside. Nice. They should be nice and flat. Finding your sit bones again, finding yourself rooted. And inhale here. And exhale, drop the strap down, coming in line with the heart. Inhale, come up. And exhale, drop down. 3 more times here. We're building some strength into our practice today. Nice, gentle strength to help build our muscles up so that we can flex them out and feel great. 2 more times. You got this. Maybe you feel a little bit of shaking, quivering. Maybe you don't feel anything. But just noticing those sensations. Last time here. And then coming up. Rooting down into the sit bones again. And then falling over to the right side. Pulling on the strap, keeping it nice and taut. And this time, maybe just trying to tilt your heart up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Keeping rooted down in the hips. Breathing. Last exhale, coming back up to center. Beautiful. We'll take it to the other side. Finding that grounding first, and then slowly, carefully dropping over to the side. And then begin turning your heart up towards the ceiling. Sending the breath down to the heavy hips. 1 more breath here. And then back to center. Beautiful. We're going to drop the strap all the way down in the lap again. Open and close the hands a few times. We got 1 more strap exercise. And then we'll push it aside for a second. Beautiful. Grabbing onto the strap again. We're going to bring the strap out to the left side. And then we're going to try to imagine we're painting a rainbow above us. So we're just going to bring the strap all the way up and over. And then out in front of us. And as we come out in front of us, we're really rounding in the back. So we're making this big open circle. This little rainbow circle, feeling the arch in the back as we take it forward, opening up, 1 more full circle to this side, Feeling the ribs come alive. And then we're going to take it to the other side, starting on the right side, making that rainbow overhead, this nice big arch, and then taking it around the front, arching in the back. Nice, yes. Nice breath. Nice work, everybody. 2 more circles on the side. Yes. And then slowly release the strap. You can set it aside for now. Shake the hands out a little bit, bringing the blood back to them. Beautiful. We're going to lean back onto the sit bones, bringing the hands behind us, slowly making our way into boat. Placing the hands around the thighs for support. And here, as we root down in our sit bones, we really want to find our chest begin to open up. So you can release your hands if that's in your practice, or you can hold on for support. And then just begin to open up the chest towards the ceiling, the sky. Breathing here, feeling our core active. 1 more breath. And then exhale, bring the feet down onto the ground. We're going to bring the hands behind us, fingers pointed towards our body. And on our next exhale, we're going to slowly bring the chin up towards the ceiling, opening, broadening through the chest. Nice. Breathing here. Saying something nice to yourself. And then exhale, coming back up to center. We're going to slowly drop the head towards the knees, rounding in the back, and just falling over the knees here for a little counter pose. Feeling that length that we're creating in the spine, even in our ab poses, like both, our core poses. Maybe feeling a little bit of sensations in the shoulders as we begin to open them up more. 1 more breath here. And slowly make your way back up, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Bringing the hands behind us, fingers pointed towards us or away from us, whatever's more comfy. We're going to bring the right ankle over the left knee here. Yeah, so already here feeling the hips. So keeping the foot nice and away from the body or bringing it closer to the glutes, whatever works for your practice today. Just being kind to yourself and noticing the sensations in your body. Finding your edge but not stepping over it. And breathing here into the hips. Feeling free to stay on the backs of your hands or coming down onto the forearms. Whatever feels good for you today. Nice. Being nice and gentle with ourselves. Taking 1 more breath. And slowly lowering all the way down to the ground. Grabbing the strap here. And bringing the strap over the right foot, the right calf, the right thigh. And then finding the resistance of the leg here. Stretching and pointing and flexing the foot. Maybe bending the knee if that feels good. Pulling the toes towards the nose here. Noticing the shoulders nice and rooted down into the earth. Feeling the lower back nice and flush with the mat. Nice. Yes. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. And after that second breath, we're going to grab the strap with the right hand, turn the toes out to the right side, and slowly open up the leg towards the side. Just doing a little bit of hip opening. Bringing that left hand down to the top of the thigh or the hip so that you're nice and supported. Yeah. Coming all the way onto your back if that feels good. Nice modifications. Breathing into this pose. Noticing the sensations without polarizing any of the feelings, not labeling them as good or bad. Just being here in your body. Reciting kindness here. Acknowledging all of the positive things that you do for yourself and your others, including, but not limited to, yoga. This hour for yourself and this self-care. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly bring the leg back up to center, bringing the right side of the foot back onto the knee. Coming back to where we started, bringing the left foot down onto the earth, bending the knee up towards the ceiling, and then slowly sitting all the way up. Feeling how you might have a little bit more space in your hips here. Beautiful. We'll bring both feet down onto the earth and just gently rock the knees side to side a few times. Releasing those IT bands. Maybe dropping them both in towards center. Nice. And then when you're complete, we'll go to the opposite side, bringing the left foot over the right knee. And sometimes I find here, like, my ankle is, like, really bony, and sometimes it hurts. So I try to find that space between my ankle and the bottom of my foot to place right on the top of my thigh. And then finding your point of opening here, whether you need to walk the foot out or walk it in towards the glute. And just staying here for a few breaths. Beginning with a gentle opening of the hips here. Breathing into those sensations. Noticing, feeling, and acknowledging. Right? When we resist things, we often find that those things that we resist come back into our path. Nice. And then slowly coming all the way down, grabbing for the strap here, keeping that right leg bent, we're extending it out. We'll wrap the strap around the thigh, the calf, or the top of the foot, and anchor in the whole back side of the body. The shoulders, the hips, pointing and flexing the toe here. Adding a little movement, a little fluidity. Breathing into that feeling. Yes. One more breath here. And then we'll turn the foot out towards the side, grab the strap with grab both sides of the strap with the left hand, and slowly lower the leg down. Finding your point of resistance here. Being kind to yourself. Being your own personal cheerleader, like you made it to your mat today. That is awesome. There's always so much going on, and it's so hard to put myself first, or selves first sometimes. So acknowledging that. Breathing into the opening of the hips, the groin, the IT band, the hamstrings, the hip flexors. Yes, excellent. Then drawing down into your navel, using core support, bring your leg all the way back up. Nice and slow. And gently bring the right knee up, placing the left knee over it. Coming up onto your forearms. And then sitting all the way back up, coming to where we started. This nice figure four, feeling maybe a little bit more space. Nice. Beautiful. We'll release out. We'll cross the legs here, dive the hands forward. Come into tabletop pose. Noticing that the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and then drop the belly, take the gaze up for cow pose. Exhale, curl everything in. And continue cat and cow for 3 more breaths. Bringing length and love to our spine. Yes. Getting a little creative here, maybe looking over a shoulder, maybe sinking back. 1 more breath. And then when you're complete, curling the toes under, lifting the hips, keeping the knees bent until the very last second, coming into downward facing dog. Spreading out through the hands here, the hips nice and lifted high, and pedal out the feet a few times. Bringing some movement into your pose. Feeling the feeling of your head being below your heart and how great that feels. And then finding 3 breaths of stillness here. Shaking the head yes a few times. Shaking the head no a few times. I guess that's not stillness, but almost complete stillness. Nice. Feel the shoulders nice and active here as the chest shines down towards the floor and maybe a little towards the back of the room. Beautiful. Soften the knees, take the gaze forward, and walk towards the front of the mat for forward fold. Dropping the head here, bringing the hands down to the ground or a block. And feeling the length all in your spine, your shoulders, your neck, your hamstrings. Yes. Breathing in kindness and exhaling love. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. And then on your last exhale, bringing the hands to the tops of the shins or a block. And inhale, lifting up halfway, lengthening the crown all the way to the tail, rolling the shoulder blades together, feeling the heart shine down towards the ground. And then exhale, surrender, release. Dropping the head, dropping the hands. Rooting down into the feet. On your next exhale, come all the way up for extended mountain pose. Taking the gaze up, the hands up. Feeling that heart shine open. Beautiful. And then exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, fold forward, surrender. Yes, sending your breath again down, which is actually up in this case, all the way to those hips again. Sending that breath to any of the sensations that you're feeling, maybe in the hamstrings, maybe in the ankles. Placing your hands on a block or the tops of the shins. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthening from the front to the back of the mat. Taking up as much space as you need here. And then exhaling, folding. Beautiful. Bend the knees a couple times here, opposite knees at a time, bending, bending. That's a weird way to say it. But then we're going to bend both knees here, placing the hands onto the ground. On your next exhale, step the left foot back, coming into a nice high lunge here. We got the knee tracking over the front foot. We have the back heel over the toes. The hips are nice and squared to the front of the mat. And then on your next inhale, walking the hands up to the thighs, eventually coming into your crescent lunge. Setting up your foundation here, keeping the hands at heart center if that feels good for you, or lifting up. Wherever you're at, I want you to broaden through the chest and the collarbones here and lift your heart up towards the sky. Beautiful. One more breath. And then exhale, set that back knee down, curling the toes under or flattening that foot out. Nice. We're going to walk the hands and the hips towards the back of the room, coming into a half splits. Straightening that front leg, finding the hips directly over the knee, feeling that opening in the calves and the hamstrings. Sometimes I have to pop my foot out a little bit further to feel that stretch really in the back of my leg. But wherever you're at, dropping the head here, feeling that nice rounding in the back. Breathing here, feeling all of the feels. But then being kind to yourself. Not saying they're good or they're bad. Nice. Two more breaths. Keeping that front foot nice and flexed. Then after that second exhale, slowly walking the hands forward. Curling the toes under here and lifting up the leg. And then walking that right foot out to the right side of the mat. Setting up for your variation of lizard. Grabbing a block here to bring the block underneath the hands, the forearms. Coming down onto that back knee if it feels comfy for you. It's different on different days. It depends what I like. Sometimes I really like to have that back leg nice and active. Sometimes setting it down helps me get a little deeper into my hips. And then dropping the head wherever you're at. Inhaling the breath down towards the feet, the hips. Two more breaths here. And After that second breath, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, bringing that foot back between the leg. Inhale, popping that back knee up, and then bringing that all the way to the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Nice, yes. Dropping the head, grabbing the opposite elbows here for ragdoll, gently swaying side to side, releasing any tension we have. Then inhaling a nice deep cleansing breath, and exhaling it out through the mouth. Beautiful. On your next inhale, place the tops of the hands onto the tops of the shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold, surrender. Placing the hands onto the ground, bending the knees generously here. We're going to step the right foot back, setting up for crescent lunge on this side. So finding the foundation first. Maybe you need to bring your stance a little bit wider, railroad tracks, and then slowly making your way up onto your thigh, eventually bringing your hands to heart center or lifting them up. Nice, yes. Squaring the hips towards the mat. And then really opening up in the chest. We'll only be here for 2 more breaths. Being kind with yourself. And exhaling when you're complete. Coming down, bringing the knee down. And then shifting back to your half splits. Finding length in your front foot, flexing that foot. And then dropping the head down. Breathing into those sensations. Bringing the breath all the way to the back of that leg. Yes. Excellent. Two more breaths here. After that second breath, make your way to the front of the mat, coming into your variation of cobra. Bringing the hands to the inside of that left leg, coming down onto a block or the mat. Keeping that toe curled under or coming onto the top of the foot. Rolling to the outside of that left foot if that feels comfy, or pivoting your toes out towards the left corner of the room. Dropping the head. And breathing into those sensations. Yes, just breathing. Your body's doing a lot of work here. And maybe your mind is too. So taking some of that tension out of not only the eyebrows and the jaws, but also in the mind. Just following your breath, each inhalation and exhalation. Maybe even coming into a meditative breath here. Being conscious of what you're doing. 3 more breaths. You're all doing excellent. After that third breath, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, popping up off that back knee, and this time we're going to kick the front leg to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank. Staying here, dropping down to the knees, because we've done a lot of shoulder work, so we want to be nice to ourselves. And then slowly we're gonna lower all the way down to the ground. Yes, nice. Bringing the arms out to a T here and resting the right cheek on the ground. Staying here for 2 breaths, recentering, affirming some kindness here, noticing the small things, noticing the big things that you do, and giving yourself a little affirmation. Switching cheeks, coming onto your left cheek, feeling length in those fingertips. Nice. And then slowly we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So bringing the palms out in front of us, underneath the shoulders, well, way further than the shoulders. We're going to bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, the forearms on the ground. Yeah, you all got it. Taking the gaze to the top of the mat to find length in the neck here. Rooting down into the pelvis and the tops of the feet. Maybe doing a couple little neck circles if that feels good. Kim did that and it looked nice. Maybe looking over your shoulder. And then finding stillness for 2 more breaths. Just gently looking down to the top of the mat. Feeling the opening happen in the lower back here. Maybe the ribs. Nice. And then exhale, come all the way down. Bring the elbows out to the sides. Bring the palms of the hands on top of each other, resting the forehead down. Nice. We'll now bring the hands alongside the ribs, setting up for cobra here. So bringing the hands as close as you can to the ribs, and then really drawing those elbows in towards the body, like really drawing them in. And then we're going to inhale, slowly peel up, keeping a nice bend in those elbows. And then exhale, release down. One more time, inhale, lift up, keeping a nice bend, shining the heart forward. And then exhale, make your way to child's pose, extended child's pose. Reaching the arms out in front, keeping the knees nice and wide, toes touching, nestling the ribs down between those legs, and bringing the forehead down. Maybe gently rocking on your third eye here, telling the nervous system that we are calm. Sending the breath all the way to the hips. Nice. So we're going to come into a thread the needle variation. So sliding the right arm underneath the left while we stay in this child's pose if that feels comfy. And then just bringing the forehead down to a block, a great place for a block, or to the mat here. Knowing that if you feel any pain at all, to back off, because we are practicing here. We're practicing kindness for ourselves so that we can practice kindness for others. Like yoga, kindness is a practice too. It doesn't come easy always. Two more breaths here. And then slowly bringing the arm out. Nice. And then we'll set up for the opposite side, sliding that left hand under, bringing the forehead down. Breathing into that, into the shoulder and the ribs. Making space for yourself here. Sinking back in those hips. Beautiful. Last breath here. And then slowly unwinding. Nice. We're going to walk the hands forward, stacking the hips over the knees here, coming into an extended puppy pose. Really reaching the hands out far, dropping the heart down towards the mat, setting the forehead or the chin down onto the mat. And breathing. We'll only be here for 3 more breaths. It's really easy to let the shoulders come up close to the ears here. So maybe you need to walk your hands out a little bit widthwise, just so you have a little girth for your shoulders. A little room. Nice. 1 more breath. And then exhale, slowly make your way up to all 4s. Nice. All right, so we're going to come into a little balance here. So extending that left foot out behind us and lifting the foot off the ground so that it's in line with the hips. Take a little peek, make sure you can see your toes. And then on your next inhale, reach that right arm forward, coming into your variation of bird dog. Finding that shoulder stacked over the left hand, feeling that right shin rooted down into the mat, and extending from the hand to the toes. Beautiful. On your next inhale, we're going to crunch everything in towards center. And then exhale, release it out. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, crunch everything in. And exhale it all out. Inhale, crunch it in. And exhale, release long. And then set that hand and that knee down. Maybe looking over the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Nice. Now we know where we're going, so finding our foundation first. Really spreading out in that right hand. And on your next inhale, lift that right leg up. Toes are flexed down towards the ground. Hips are squared to the mat. Inhale, reach that left arm towards the front of the room. Thumb is up towards the ceiling. Finding that length here, finding the shoulders and the hips, working in union here. Feeling that line of energy from the fingers to the toes. On your next inhale, crunch everything in. Exhale, release. Inhale, crunch in. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, crunch in. Exhale, release long. Then set the knees down, the hands down. And then just do a couple little circles on your mat. Circling to the right, circling to the left. And then gently making your way to your bum so that we can lie all the way down onto the ground. Yes, nice. Beautiful. We're going to set up for bridge pose. So bringing the feet, finding all 4 corners of the feet on the ground, finding the length from the backs of your heels to your glutes. You don't want it too far out. You want to be able to kind of reach around and touch your feet. Yeah, beautiful. Bringing the arms alongside you. And on your your next inhale, pretend you have a block between your legs if you don't. And on your next inhale, lift the hips up.